Hello, everyone. If you are listening and you are desiring love in your heart, okay, I'm actually going to do that again because I'm streaming in two different places. So hang with me here. Okay. So anyway, yes, if you are joining me and looking for love, you're in the right place. And just this past week, I was being interviewed by a woman, and she had talked to me a week previously. And a week previously, things were challenging. I was all stressed out, and I've been preparing for this 3-day event coming up in January, which I'm so excited about, and just feeling overwhelmed. And I know so many of you are feeling overwhelmed right now. It's the holiday season. There's so much to do. It's a lot of fun things, but hello, Jerry. With all of these fun things, also, it seems like it comes with responsibilities. And there are so many of you that are single this year. Maybe you are just going through a breakup. Maybe you're divorced and considering getting back in your love life. And dating again. I don't know where you are, but so many of you are feeling overwhelmed, and you add that desire for love on top of that, you don't quite know what to do. So I'm Dr. Kelly Martin Shue, Amazon bestselling author, speaker, and transformational coach for women. And today I want to talk about, how you become so irresistible that every man's going to want you. And what a hot topic. I mean, there are many of you, I know what you're thinking. It might be the way you dress or, being a little promiscuous. And yet that's not it at all. It actually has to do with us rewinding time to when you're little. And so anyway, on this interview, my friend was asking me, she said, something's different about you. I talked to you last week and you're overwhelmed, but something's changed. You're like, I got you back. And I said, yeah, here's what changed. And I had to think about it. I said, on Saturday, we went skiing, and I found myself in so much joy skiing down the mountains and singing Christmas carols with my daughter. I'm so present, so joyful, and letting it all fly, letting it all go. And she said, wow, I know you're an athlete and you love to ski. And it was in that sharing that it dawned on me that there was something about me being 8 years old and skiing and what it did for me and how it lit me up. And so let me take you back, and then we're going to apply this to you and your love life and how to be irresistible. So when I was 8 years old, my mother really wanted to learn how to ski. I think she had skied maybe once or twice in high school, and her best friend was a skier, and they had a ski house up in the mountains. I'm from the East Coast, and so it was a place up in the Poconos. And my dad, being more reserved, said, Cheryl, you go. Why don't you take the girls up there? And so she did, and she packed us up, and we were planning on going skiing. Well, leaving my dad decided, oh my gosh, my girls are out of the house. I want to go skiing too. So he followed along, and we signed up to take skiing lessons on this little hill. But at the time, at the age of 8, this hill didn't seem like a little hill. It was a huge hill. It was so big, and I watched people swishing and skiing and going down the mountains. And so we had some instruction at the base of the mountain. I actually think my instructor name was John, and John taught us all the basics. He taught us, how to put our skis in a proper position to be more stable. Most importantly, he taught us if we fell down how to get back up, just like some really basic things. And so I think that was the morning session. And then after the morning session, he said, you know what? Now's the time you're going to get on the lift and we're going to practice this stuff. We're going to ski. And I was so excited. I was 8 years old and I saw the top of the mountain, but I was also really scared. And the first scary thing was as the ski lift came around, I was really short. And so the ski lift would, hit me, like I needed to literally be picked up and put on the lift. And then here you are going up the ski lift and your little legs are dangling and you're looking down. And yes, I was an adventurous, but it was scary. And here I was with my instructor teaching me something new. And we get to the top of the mountain and we're looking down and I'm like really, really, really excited and also so scared, right? Like, because this mountain looked huge and I'd already been on this ski lift right? And so high up in the air. And then it was scary being at the top, looking down, never having made a turn, and people whooshing and whooshing right by me and skiing. And I didn't even think about it. Like in a moment, I decided I was going to ski. I claimed it. I was going to be a skier. I was going to do this. And I threw my heart down the hill and chased it. And what in the heck do I mean by that? I literally just went for it. And the story goes, my mom and dad were looking at me, and they're watching this little kid, this little 8-year-old, and she's picking up speed and picking up speed and picking up speed. And you think she's going to crash. And somehow I stopped. And so why in the heck am I telling you a story about skiing at the age of 8? And what does that have to do with you being a single woman looking for love? Well, it has everything to do about it. We're going to make sense of the story. So in your love life, what is required is for us to rewind time. You know, let's go back to the time when you were a little girl and you had certain passions. And even if you were a shy one, you knew what you liked and you had the ability to say yes without over analyzing. You kind of just did it, even with just like a little bit of guidance, because you knew you were a beginner. Like most things that you were being introduced to, it was a first time. You had so many first time experiences. And yet being a kid, you kind of just did it. So here I was 8 being really threatened, just like you might be threatened in love. Like maybe the thought of getting online is so scary for you. And you know, you're concerned about, oh my gosh, you know, what's my family going to think that I'm online? Or they're all the good guys, they're all gone. There's a bunch of freaks online. Like whatever your thought is, you know, that it's generally negative. And so you're over analyzing. So the first thing I want to share with you in this story is if you want love, like the first piece, like the very first piece is maybe like, first of all, going back in time and getting back to that passion of like love, like the opportunity to play and have a playmate. Yes, you want that. So it requires you to just say yes. Just say yes. You don't know the how. You don't have like, you know, your PhD in love. Maybe you've actually made a lot of mistakes, but say yes. It's 2019, 2020 is coming up. And I know you might already be thinking about, oh, here we go again, another year. I'm going to be lonely. I'm going to be single. Whatever happened to me? You don't need to know the how. Start with the what. What do you want? So if you want love, start by just saying, yes, I want love. I name it and claim it. If this is speaking to you, say yes in the comments. And you can also send me little hearts. I love little hearts. Okay, so love is scary. I'm not going to lie. It's a risky business, just like skiing. You could have your heart broken. And yet I am here to tell you it is so worth it. And there are going to be times that you feel like you're dangling with your feet up high in the air and you're looking down and you're not feeling grounded and you're so uncertain. But you know what? You're on the chairlift. And in the story, I was on the chairlift with my instructor next to me. This also has metaphor for you. And that is share your heart's desire with a best friend. Share your heart's desire with your friends, with your loved ones, and ideally hire a dating coach or get some instructions, right? In the sense that so that you don't continue to make all the same mistakes. Like know how to stop, know how to have boundaries, right? Know how that the basics of dating and love, they're not that complicated. And yet often our past is holding us back. So having some support and some instruction is so important. And so I encourage you to hire a dating coach and get some of that support, especially if it's been a while, especially if you've never really felt confident in love. So the next part of the story. So remember, I got up to the top of the mountain and I'd had some basic instruction, and yet I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know how I was going to ski. I had to trust. I had to have faith. And I actually had an instructor tell me a long time ago. He said, if you're skiing, here's what you need to do. Throw your heart down the hill and go chase it. And I'm here to tell you today, it's the same thing in love. There are no secure rails. There is no perfection. There is no way to keep you safe and in love. So it is risky. But if you're willing to stake a claim today and say yes to love and to get some support, to verbalize your desires, to get some instruction, right? One of the skills I did have is I had practice at the bottom of the hill, just some basics, how to put your skis in this position to kind of slow you down. What was the other thing I learned? When you fall down, how to get back up. Because you might fall down in love. You might have things that don't go your way, but that doesn't mean you give up. You pick yourself back up. Your willingness to pick yourself up, no matter what you've been through. And there are so many women that I work with, they have been through a lot. They've been through heartache. They've lost loved ones. They may have had a diagnosis. They thought they were no longer lovable. Maybe they had some body image things. Maybe they were anorexic. They could have had so many things in their history that many would say, you know what, I'm just going to give up. I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. And yet that's not what the little girl wants. The little girl that's passionate knows that she wants love and she deserves love. If this is speaking to you, again, I love the hearts. Hello, Edgar. This could be your year for love. Just some basic things that are needed here. And as I said, throw your heart down the hill and go catch it. You know, dating and falling in love, it's an adventure. It's an adventure. And it is for the courageous one. Because, you know, no matter where you are in this journey, just putting yourself out there, you know, you can put yourself out there and also still kind of stay disconnected. And you could get some dates. In fact, you could get a boyfriend. And yet you will still be yearning for a deeper connection. I've worked with women who have been married for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And you know what they tell me? And in those relationships that it ended in divorce, I've had women say, you know what? I never felt like I could really be me. I never felt like I could tell my partner my deepest, darkest secrets. So while they were even in marriage, they weren't in an intimate, deeply connected marriage. And you know what that requires? Vulnerability. Just like that little 8-year-old in me that like put myself down the hill. I could have really injured myself. And just with a little bit of instruction, you know, I went for it. I am here as your coach today. If you are a single professional woman and you want love, well, if you're a professional woman, you had to do things to get to that point. And yet in the area of your love, if you feel like you're failing, this is your year. And I am here to support you. I love helping women to be vulnerable, to turn their love and their heart back on. And that is what makes you irresistible. It's the vulnerability. It's the being real. It's the putting yourself out there. It's not the hiding in the corner and being quiet and so fearful of being visible and so fearful of being noticed and so fearful of rejection. The fear, the fear, the fear, the fear. It's the thing that's keeping you from the connection. It's funny, just yesterday, talking about vulnerability, I was at the athletic club working out, and my daughter and I decided to go to the hot tub as just some time together after I worked out. And somehow the locker, I messed up on the keys and I locked myself out of the locker. And so when I went back, here I was, we were locked out. No keys, no cell phone, no clothes. Here I am naked, like naked. Talk about vulnerable. I'm naked now in a woman's room, totally fine. But what I realized is that who was at the front desk was 2 men. And I'm thinking, and all they had were these little towels. It was like, I think like 6 o'clock, and they had gone through all their towels and they had one like little towel. And this little towel like just covered my privates, you know, just by like this much, like really like it's just big enough. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like how often are we so vulnerable in life, and yet were willing to ask for help. So in my mind's eye, I was thinking worst case scenario, I'd have to go out in the front desk in this little tiny towel and ask for the special key to get in my locker. And I realized in that moment, it was so easy. I had my daughter right there, and I could ask her because she actually had her little swimsuit on. And she was able to go out. I asked for help for her to go and get the key and bring it back. But here's what I realized is, where in your life have you been vulnerable and you've not asked for help and you've not engaged and you think you have to do this all on your own? Love is the same thing. Like, who have you asked for help? Who have you asked for support? Have you hired a coach? And if you hired a coach and it didn't work, does that mean that all relationship coaches, that they don't know what they're doing? No. I'm here to tell you, it's one of the first things that I did when I claimed love, when I decided this is my year. I am upping my standards. Couple things that I did is I decided that this was my year. I was going to up my standards. I started taking ridiculous care of myself. The self-care went from here to here, right? If you want to be irresistible, you want to take such good care of yourself, like the kind of care that you would be hoping to receive from a loved one, from your companion that you'll be attracting. And I also hired a coach. I also started using visualizations. And through this saying yes to love, I developed a strategy that worked for me. And now I share it with women, and it's a proven strategy to magnetize a man. And not just any man, but like your king. Your king. So if you're watching this and you know 2020 is your year and you are sick and tired of being single, this is your year. So rewind the clock. Go back to that little girl that knows how to just live life. She puts her heart out there. She doesn't overanalyze. If she needs a little bit of help, she asks for it. She's willing to get some instruction. She's willing to learn how to, if she falls, to get back up. And she's also willing to move through her fears. So this is my call to you. And if you like what you saw today, I'm hosting a 3-day event in Boulder, Colorado called Magnetize Your Man. Over the course of these 3 days, it's live. It is at the Dairy Center, which is this gorgeous theater. We're going to come in community as women and have one single intention. And that is intention for every woman in the room to magnetize love. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give 3 days of powerful exercises and proven maps and systems to really shine that magnet that makes you so irresistible, which is you being more of you, which doesn't need to look like me. Yes, I get overexcited sometimes. You might be the quiet one in the room with the magnet that has a different energy, a different blueprint to magnetize your man. So you don't need to be crazy like me. But over the course of these 3 days, we are going to, day 1, you will rewire. No. I'm trying to think. A moment. We're going to reclaim. Day 2, you're going to reclaim your feminine power. Oh, number 1, day 1, you're going to release your past. So we're going to release all that programming that's in your subconscious that's saying, you're not enough, you're not lovable, you screwed up, you're never going to get this, all that stuff. We're going to clear that on day 1, right? Day 2, we're going to reclaim your feminine power. You're going to be more in touch with your authentic you than you've ever been before. And we're going to build up that confidence so that you're a magnet for love. You're so irresistible to men because when you walk in the room, you know who you are. You know your strengths. You know your gifts. You know you're totally lovable. And then day 3, we're going to rewire your love story. And Dr. Joe Dispenza speaks about this, about how rewiring your brain for something new is so important. So we're going to be using cutting edge technology to rewire your brain for love, so that your love story, it truly can look like a blockbuster. I remember one woman that I worked with, we came up with her man plan. It's one of the strategies that we use. And she named it and claimed it. She said, you know what? This is the summer of love. I'm going to magnetize my man in 90 days. And guess what happened? She did it. She did it. So I have women, I just spoke with a woman earlier today. This is a woman who I've coached, and she was sharing with me that as we work together, you know, there was a period of time where she had so much stuff we had to clear. But once she cleared that and she was crystal clear on the exact kind of man she wanted, and she was able to be totally her, she got on Bumble using our techniques and our strategies, her being authentically her. She was able to magnetize a man. I think it was in like within, I want to say 7 days, but it may have been that the first interaction was in like 3 days. And now they're in this, like coming up on 8 months, and they're having the conversation about getting the approval of her father for her hand in marriage. So this stuff works. This stuff works. And you know what? When we can gather as women over the period of 3 days with one single intention, it's powerful. There have been studies that with a single intention and group energy, it like accelerates it exponentially. So it's in this sisterhood, in this container. You're going to come away, get outside of your daily routines that get you stuck in the old patterns and keep you stuck kind of like continuing having the same kind of love life or attracting the same kind of men over and over and over again. So over the course of 3 days, we're going to have an immersion experience. And this is where the magic happens. It happens in community. It happens in that safe place where you can grow and heal and call in the one for you. And so we do have partial scholarships still available for a limited time. And so the value on this event is $997. And you can claim your ticket now. We still have availability for only $97. We have a woman that's probably going to be flying in from Guatemala. So you know what? If you don't live in Boulder, no excuse. Absolutely no excuse. Love is worth it. I've invested, I can't even tell you how much I've invested over the years in helping me to get what I want out of life. It's an inside out job. It's an inside out job. And when the inside mirrors what you want on the outside, there's what we call vibrational resonance, and boom, it happens. So please be my guest. Come join us in Boulder, Colorado for Magnetize Your Man 2020. And I know women will be flying in. There'll be women that will connect as roommates. So if you need to save some money, once you're in, once you register, we're gonna hook you women up so that you can do ride shares. And we have this a beautiful community that's saying yes to you having love this year. So I'll go ahead and I'll put the link in the comments section. And I'm getting so excited. Every day I'm getting more guidance on what we want to share at that event. In addition, I'll share with you these proven methods that I've used over a decade. So this is your year to reclaim your inner queen and magnetize your king. Be sure to click the drkellylive.com to get your tickets. And I can't wait to meet you in Boulder, Colorado. Happy holidays, and we'll talk soon.